So it's whatever alleviates that pain for you, if other than if you don't know Christ Himself.
And then the other thing is men will run through women
Well,
as
shouldn't,
painkillers.
excuse me, shouldn't it be as though, as we're speaking to the men, if you're not happy with who's at home, you get rid of that. I'm
A
not
lot.
married, so let me say that. I don't know about but I'm gonna speak from my point of view.
Mhm.
If I'm not happy, I get rid of. I mean, you
Well,
ain't got no place
oftentimes
wrong
when
with
you
me.
start out in a relationship, you're getting all you want, you're getting everything that you need, and then after you get to a certain level, women have a tendency to fade from what they actually. I always tell people. So what you did was you lied in the dating process. You told me if I got you, this is what I was getting. Then how is it that I got you now, and what I was getting is far from what I am getting.
Because they selling representatives. The representative is always out there in the beginning.
Mhm.
You know, you never get.
And that's the
real,
problem. That usually sends a man into that
And that's why
tailspin
he always
of gravitating
towards that. I mean, you get the representative in the beginning, you thinking it's all good. You getting the head, you all men here, you getting the head, you getting all the loving, the cooking, the baby this and that, and the affirmation you talk about, spend by the job and all that. You getting all that as a good representative. But when you really touch down after a while, and you really get the reality of the thing, you get to see the real deal for what it is. And it ain't working. And that's when
all that stuff.
that's when I'm gonna go to skating. That's when I'm gonna go to running.
And so, see, what people don't recognize is biblically, Samson was connected to Delilah for one thing, affirmation,
Yeah.
because he never slept with her. He slept with the harlot, but he never slept with Delilah. But Delilah was the woman who he could unveil himself to. One of the most difficult things for man is unveiling himself to the thing he perceives that covers him. Just because I'm married to you don't mean you'll cover me. Covering me actually means that you're all right with my strengths, you're all right with my weaknesses, you're all right, and you don't make fun of them. That's the kind of stuff. Is that all? Is that all you asking for? Is that all you see? You just punch the guy in the gut when you say stuff to him, and you say, "Is that all?" Because what you're really telling him is you're weak if you're acting for that, and a man can't handle the concepts of weakness because that ain't what he's used to.
Well, I ask a question, Bishop. It stems from your mother. If your mother made you feel like a weak boy, you're gonna be a weak man. I see a lot of young women nowadays, they disrespect their young babies. Like when they out in Walmart, I don't know if y'all see it. Stop acting like a little fag, little sissy. You're hollering at your hollering like your paw. Your paw wasn't none of this that. You know, you experience that and you see that. So when that young boy grows up to be a teenager, he got a point to prove that he's not weak. So that's why they breaking cars. That's why they got the pistols and they doing all the other stuff. So
all that stuff going bad.
he wanna prove he's a man. But yeah, he's not. He's fighting against what he's been taught by his mother all his life. And see, with having a mother like that, he gonna go out and choose a woman just like his mother, talking down on her, because that's all he knew his whole life. So if you change your mindset, your belief system as a man growing up, and mentally young men, they'll get a better mindset and perspective on who they are. They lost their
And
image.
see, the important part of that is, what do I hope to change my mindset? Because if everything around me is as damaged as I am, what do I find? So you have to find somebody who's not as damaged as you are, because a person can't take you to a place they haven't been. And so when you start to, like you're talking about with that's culture. Our culture has gotten to a point to where women used to honor the man, but because everything has gotten to a place now, the struggle is women honoring a man because they're trying to prove they even with the man. And that's how come you hear women say, "I don't need no man." And I tell you, you might not need one, but you sure ought to want one. You might not need no man, but you ought to want one.
Yeah.
Because the man is the piece that covers you and completes you. And all that, what you talking about, well, I can do this, I can do this. No. If you got a real man, he does a lot more to you than have sex with you.
Yeah.
He carries you, he does a lot more for you than that. And so when those things are in place, when life is in place, life is simple to be a man. But when life is out of place, and some stuff don't get fixed until we stop and look at it. Because you cannot quit what you can't admit. because oftentimes men can be hurt, and I'm all right. Cause see, we've been taught that even if you damage, say you're all right, your leg can be broke, and that's how oftentimes men end up in places where they short fuse and they go off because they done had so much in and they had no way to get it out. Because to get it out, even if I go to my fellow friends and start telling them, you worried about them thinking you're weak. You have very few people who you can just go lay it all out and say, look here, I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to, cuss folks out. I'm ready. See, the reality of it. And even when you start going to people in church, you want to bring Jesus in it. And I'm going like, I ain't saying I don't need Jesus, but I'm just saying right now, give me something a little more supportive. Because Jesus is going to come on his own time. But I need you to give me something. Because I need to know, am I crazy? And when I'm going through, I need to know, am I missing it? Because if other brothers are going through the same thing, then we're all seeing the same thing. But if I'm dealing with folks who act in one way, it'll make me feel like I'm inadequate. And inadequacy makes me shut down.
Sometimes it make you feel like you're alone, because most men, like you said, suffer in silence. They don't say nothing. They listen to your story, and here you go, Drew, and they be dealing with the same thing. They don't really come out.
No.
So that's the biggest issue I see with men. When you get men together, they really don't keep it real. They say keep it real, but they really don't keep it real. When they getting played by their old lady at home, their wife, or they taking the money, and they feel like they just going to work, paying the bills, taking all this trash. All they get is gas money, bad enough to get to cut their hair. That's not really cool and everything else like that. So I say the church, which brothers should have their wives come if you got a husband and wife team, and go sit down and talk with them people, man. See what the real deal is, because the priorities out of and the roles are out of place. Mm-hmm. So if people don't know their role, they don't know their place.
That's messed up now.
And that's what it is.
Roles are so messed up.
Because like you said, a woman thinks she equal to man now. She might make more money. She might got the house. She got the car. So she really don't need you in that aspect. So like you said earlier, she need a high priest. She need a leader. She already got the stuff. Now if you come in there with a little hoopty or something like that, she looking at you. She might help you for a minute, but she ain't gonna help you for long. She gonna help you just enough so you could get up and start helping her. Because she got the bills. She's smothering the bills, look like she got it going on. Met a lot of chicks like that. But all they trying to do is draw you in to come help them pay them bills.
On that note,
See, my question for a man is when you go out checking out a chick, you have to, I always tell people this. As for a female, what can you give me besides sex? What do you have besides sex? Because if you don't have nothing besides sex, then see, men will play with stuff they can't keep. If you happen to step over the line to play, make sure you can keep. And it should be even. You should always have an even trade or upgrade, but going down just to play with somebody for the sake. Because see, that tells me that can mean you struggling in esteem issues. Because you'll take anything to play with to satisfy your moment, but then create a problem in your reality.
Piggyback on Terrence.
Yeah.
The comment you said, I do agree with you when you said you get, like even Pop said, you get your game from your mom.
Right.
You know, what I'm about to speak on as far as a young man, strong mother, you follow that.
Yeah.
My mom told me, babe, I don't care if you got $1 in your pocket, you're still a man. So in my mindset, I feel believe everybody's not, but coming up, you should be a man. And piggyback what you speaking on too. Like I said, I've never been married. I don't believe in bringing no check home. I don't believe in it. I'm not giving her nothing. I take care of my responsibility, my bill, whatever she needed for minor necessities and things. You gotta work too. Just.
Well, it's all about building a team.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be married, then you have to build a team. We have to work as a unit to get to the place. Now, I might be the quarterback, but it still don't mean I don't need all the assistance that a quarterback has. I might be calling the plays, calling the shots.
Well, I heard this saying too back then. Behind every good man is a good woman. That's what I heard. But it's when I looked at it, The man is the foundation of the house. If you got a house in mind, a man, the foundation, you don't never see the foundation of a house. You see the actual house, the brick, the stucco and all that. He hid under the bottom, so he holding the whole thing up. So if you got a crack in the foundation in a man, you got a crack in a woman, you got a crack in the family, the whole family broken. So it starts down with the man. You gotta have be strong from the jump, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially.
Well, that's the thing of building of a man. And that's what I think we have to go back to,
Right.
is getting men the tools to be solid, stable,
Right.
confident within themselves.
I agree.
Being a solid man, like he says, in a house, if the roof get blown off, they'll tell you put another roof on it. Windows get blown out, they say put more windows in. If the door get knocked out, put another door in. But if the foundation crack, they're gonna tell you tear the whole house down.
Condemn it.
Because the house, the man is the substratum that women build on.
Right.
And that's like another thing for men is consistency. Women are too consistent for you to be inconsistent. You can't be talking about I'm the man and you working sometime and sometime you ain't, and you let a little stuff get up under your skin and you quit, and you know, every time you know, as a solid man, you have to do things not because it's easy, you do things because you have to do them.
Right.
So you get short hours sleep and get a lot of stuff done and getting things done. And as a man, as I get these things, now I'm expecting something back for what I get. And what happens when a man produces, provides, protects, do everything he needs to do, and get nothing in reward? He starts to feel rejected. That's a damaging place.
That's when you start looking for other avenues.
Oh, he's looking for a Delilah.
Been there and done that. 18 years of marriage, put her through nursing school, put her through nurse practitioner school, all about her, all about the family. Did that, 18 years. Didn't work for 14 of them years. So did all that, like you said, got nothing in return. What I did get in return is raising my children, put them through good schools and things like that. So I did consider it a blessing to her for her career, or I can go ahead on and self-medicate and put her out of misery for doing it the way she did it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm loyal. Whether you loyal to me or not, I'm gonna be loyal.
Right.
But overall, I can't put her out of misery because that's gonna hurt my kids.
Right.
That's gonna ruin what I worked for all them years. So I considered a blessing go on with my life. But did I wild out for 4 years, slept around, hold, did everything, you know, afterwards and everything, because my loyalty was disrespected. So I had to come back to myself. Sure, I'm coming back around and everything else. You see nice women, I'm a single man now, so now I gotta have some discipline with myself. Cause like you said, my standards are high. If you ain't got your career, if you ain't going back to school, if your credit ain't right, I can't see you, I don't want to talk to you. If you can't bring none to this table, there's no need to step to me. I got values, I got morals.
Right.
I raised a woman.
Right.
You could be, you didn't might proud to see what I'm saying.
Right.
I raised her. She became came to me as a girl, and I raised her to be a woman. I used to hate to hear people say, "I made you." You see what I'm saying? I didn't make you. God made you, but I raised you. You came with nothing, and you left with everything. So my thing I learned over the years, these 4 years, is I'm light. I shine bright. So I got to find somebody that's equal light. So whether they come, leave, or whatever, I'm still gonna be shining, regardless. And that's what it is. That's what I'm learning about me, the essence of me, what it is. Can you endure the pain? Can do you have to run to dope? Do you have to run to a drink or something like that? And look, I be chilling, man. I'll be on my own, read my word, do my little thing, but I ain't hoeing no more. I'm out of that for a minute, because all that don't really get nowhere. I always end up grieved, but I keep my focus and everything else on what I'm going. Rebuilding credit, I had to do all that all over again. It took 3 years to build credit. I was at 850, I'm at 780 now. But messing with women that don't have no morals, no discipline or respect for a man, that's what they come in to deplete, disappreciate, disrespect, and don't even honor a man. I understand what you're saying.
But see, they don't come, women like that don't come in to build a team.
Yeah.
They come in to be the team.
Be the team. Be
And
the
so
team.
when you come in to be the team, then I don't have a problem with you being a team, you're just gonna be one by yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't care how fine, you know how we are, we lose. We lose everything based on the body of a woman. If a woman is fine,
Okay.
then you know it stops all the traffic. It does. And some of the most damaged women you will ever find will be some of the most finest women you ever see.
That's right.
And you trying to figure out how they get that damage. And so it takes time to be able to that. But see, if you're solid like yourself, you can tell her you bad, but I'm bad too. See,
That's right.
I'm bad by myself.
That's
so
right.
what you got to offer? If you have nothing to offer, then other than a body,
That's fine. Look,
I
they,
said
they,
don't matter if you got a 6-pack or a keg. It depends on how you work it.
they paying for it out here.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
thing right? They paying for
Yeah.
the breast, they paying for the ass, they paying for everything, and they doing it with somebody pocket change who want to give it to them like
Yeah.
that. I'm not paying for none of that. That don't excite me. I had that my whole life. So that really don't excite me. You gotta have more. You gotta have some substance in you, baby. I done deal with all that my whole life.
Right.
So what else do you got to offer? If we minus the sex, if we minus all the other stuff, what do you really have to offer?
Well, once you kill sex, now you're down to the real table.
Yeah.
See, because you
Yeah.
you know, because women actually think if they give you sex, they've done you a favor.
Right.
But I've come to a conclusion of this: you need me as bad as I need you. This is both of us. This ain't you. You're not giving me something.
Right.
And okay, you want to give me sex. You want to climax in the sex, and then me give you money.
Right. Yes, ain't no way.
But why don't you give me money?
Right. Put it on the nightstand, right next to that too. I'm the one laying the pipe. You understand? I'm going to work. Half of the time they won't be on their back. They don't want work. They'll sit on their knees, want you to the back. I'm doing the work. If I'm putting the work, I need to get
Put my
paid.
money on the table.
I need to get paid. That's why I'm at with it.
No, what's your word, huh?
Real talk.
Man, I'm putting look. I'm putting in the work.
If I ain't get nothing out of this, I'm gonna put that in my head.
I'm lying to you. Look, fella, I gotta get rolling. I'll be back on there. Be back, man. It's nice meeting y'all. I gotta make a little run though, man. Appreciate it, man. All right, all love.
Did you get anything out the few little minutes you done been
Oh,
there?
man, I love it, man. We can roll all day. All right, man.
Watch your information.
All right.
We'll see you at the next one then.
Oh, yeah. All right.
But it's imperative that men have to make adjustments in this hour, in this level of living. Men have to make adjustments. You have to look at all the stuff that other folks is doing and stuff other folks ain't doing, and make adjustments. And you make adjustments when you start learning, like he's talking about, your worth. You have to learn it. If you don't know your own value, a woman can kill you with words. She don't never have to hit you. She can just dethrone you with her words. And you will be, baby, you'll be devastated from words. And if you tell the truth, a lot of men in here have been damaged by words. What I thought was gonna be support ended up being damaging words. And so if I give you my best and that's all I got, then where is the support system that I'm supposed to have? Because that's the whole purpose of getting a relationship. I get in a relationship for support system. I support you, you support me. That's the whole purpose of Adam and Eve. Adam was to tend the garden and Eve was to help. That was her whole job. But part of her job as a helpmate was not necessarily so much of tending the garden as she was to tending Adam. And like I said earlier, that's how come oftentimes you end up finding somebody else to tend you, because what should be tending you don't tend you.
You have to what it takes to, what they did in the beginning, they don't do no more. Once you get married, fellas, y'all it's good in the beginning, but it fades off real quick.
Let me tell you something, that kind of stuff has to be done on purpose. You don't keep a fire burning in a marriage just because you look at each other. That's what used to happen. As time goes, you have to on purpose do stuff from both people. From both people. But if a man reaches and he's not responded to the reaching, he keeps reaching, the more he's not responded to, the more wall he builds up. So you can't be in the house with a woman with a wall.
Right.
You can't see the wall, but the wall is there. She knows it's there, you do too. And the problem is, when you try to reconcile to tear the wall down The difficult problem is it's hard to tell down what you don't know how you built. And what happens is, when rejection and hard words, you just steady putting blocks on it. You steady putting blocks on
No,
it.
not today. No, come
It's-
on now, go ahead on with all that. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead now, no, you got something else to say.
See that words, see words,
Word.
go on with all of that.
But then when you gonna start reaching them though,
Okay, what's wrong with you?
bro,
You going by your girl.
you
doing
something.
No more touchy feely.
Or you just found somebody.
But the thing with that is, it's already was in your head because you know you wasn't doing what you're supposed to be doing. So now, when he's all right with you not doing that, your first thing is you want to start looking because you want to try to find out who's the culprit to pull your attention. She's not willing to deal with the truth. You're the culprit for losing my attention. You lost it because when I gave it to you, you never received it. So somewhere down the line, a man he'll cut it off. And once he cuts it off, you got real issues. I tell women all the time, long as you got a man crying, you in good shape. Your problem is when he stops. When he stops reaching, he ain't into all of that, and you trying to bring, and everything that he asked for, now you want to bring it, it's out of his memory that he ain't asked for. And so now it don't even matter that you bring it, because you're not the one I want to bring it. And so when those type of things happen, it's because men take such hard falls, such difficult falls in life. It's hell to work and all your money's gone and you're trying to take care and do all that. It's a very difficult place for any man. And then you're still expected to be supportive of the person who's not supporting you. It ain't always stuff when you're talking about negatives. It's just some of it is the hard words that you hear.
I seen a mechanism was used at card games. I used to pay attention when I was real young at the women's and how they used to operate about the male figure. So it'd be like a lot of influence dealing with women's. They want your situation. They want their girl's situation to be like their situation. They don't understand how that affect their situation, you know what I'm saying? Because they probably ain't got a man who doing what this man doing, so they'll sit up there and they'll make their friend believe like, well, girl, because I do this and I do this is an influence. So a lot of women, they bait in on that, you know what I'm saying? Instead of like putting their friends in place and be like, well, look, girl, you know, check them. You got to check them, because if you don't check them, it's going to go far. And anything about you hear repetitiously, you start to believe. That's with anything. So that's what a lot of women doing, and I seen that in the card game. They'll talk about dudes, but I'm paying attention, but they like, oh, he young, he don't know what's going on, you know, so they steady shooting the breeze. So you can see how they operate. So that's like, keep me like on short tolerance for like any bullshit like dealing with a woman, you know, because I seen the game that was played and I learned from the best of women's, you know, so I know what they doing when they be like, oh, go ahead, and I be like, all right, do that, you know, well, there's no place for you. Like at a moment's time, I ain't got the time to go back and forth like, oh yeah, well, come on, please, you know, and this what they looking for, because this is where the control come in at. So if they can control you, they can make you operate how they want you to operate. A woman to cheat in your face and she could get you to believe, oh no, I didn't do that. Yeah, they cool with it. Yeah, they do that.
It's like on the movie
Man,
Norman.
they do that.
Mark Norman, when
Yeah,
she
shit.
told him, you didn't see that, you didn't see that. And I'm like, the man clearly saw it.
Yeah. And some dudes will believe it, you know, because it's a mental game that they playing, you know.
Women will do what they can to well, it's a level of deception.
Yeah.
Deception is designed to misinform, mistreat, mishandle. Misinform, mistreat, mishandle.
Yeah.
That you're gonna have that. But let me ask you a question for men in here today. How many men in here today feel your value is not represented right by your house? By the things you do, and then it's not. That's a very difficult feeling to take care of your house, do what you're supposed to do, and they see it as if you know what happens? I'll say this for, it's almost a curse to be a good man.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's almost a curse to be a
Yeah.
good man, because commonality make women think you owe me that. That's what you're supposed to do. You're right, that's what I'm supposed to do. But how many of your friends got anybody supposed to do that? They don't. So when you get it, you have to be smart enough to know I'm an obsolete person. And I got something that's taking care of the house and doing what they're supposed to be doing. And they value it, they street value. Your street value should never be higher than your house value. If your street value is higher than the house value, that means the person in the house don't appreciate what they got. Because how can a person in the streets get part of you and value more part than a person gets who gets the whole thing?
Why do men let themselves get put in a situation?
Most of the time when men are married, you're trying to, marriage is not something that you jumping in to try to get out of. You getting in and you start out whatever way, and because things start to thin, you stay because you're hoping for change. And I was married my first time 27 years. And so in 27 years, as things got further and further away, and the more, now one thing I tell men quick, you need to make your value known. You need to make yourself known to them. Because if you don't, then you're gonna get in your face later and say, well, you never said a thing.
Right.
Now, I'm gonna tell you what I ain't getting, what I need. I'm telling you everything I need to tell you. You can call it fussing, raising hell, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna make myself known to you. Why? Because I want you to fix it. You can't expect a person to fix if they don't even know it's broke. So as a man, I need to be able to tell you how I feel, what I want, and what I expect from you. That's what I need to do. And as a man, I have a right to do that. I have a right to let you know what I expect. And you only get what you negotiate for. So if you don't do no negotiation, you know, and because see, sometimes women just say, well, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do this, and cling, you just ring up in your head and say, okay, good, thank you for the information. You just told me what you wasn't gonna do, you wasn't gonna make adjustments, you wasn't gonna try to meet me halfway, which means you left a nice door open. Now, it's just, that's why I tell folks, you can go years with the door open and you going in and out the door.
Yeah.
Bishop,
Mm-hmm.
what is the next step when you say what it is you need and they say what it is they're not going to do?
You have to
So
make a
your needs
decision.
are not going to be met.
You have to make a decision then. As a person, you have to make a decision. Do I plan on staying here and doing this? And so for church folks, unquote church folks, the Bible says, let every man have his own wife, every wife have her own husband. For this reason, there'll be no immorality. What is this reason? You're pleasing me and taking care of me.
Right.
If you're pleasing me and taking care of me, then there's no room for immorality. Immorality starts when you're not doing those things. Marriage is over long before you sign a paper. Long before you sign a paper. Signing paper is the last thing. Marriage checked out a long time ago. When you stop being able to be available for one another, you're playing the game of shut down, I withhold. That's not smart for women to withhold from a man, because now you're going to create avenues for problems. That's your teammate. You're not helping. You're creating problems for that. But if we're not transparent enough to be plain, and so that's one of the times, sometimes you have to ask people, okay, you just told me what you wasn't gonna do, what do you suggest for me? What do you suggest for me? I mean, cause this is what you said you weren't gonna do, and I don't have a problem with you saying what you're doing. Well, what do you suggest for me? Because it ain't just a one-sided deal here. This is both of us in this deal. So if you're not with, because see, if we don't deal with the real truth, marriage is a sacrifice. Sacrifice is never about the individual that's sacrificing. Sacrificing is because sacrifice of something. So if you sacrificing, you're doing what you're doing for me, not for you. In baseball, you got to sacrifice bunt, you got to sacrifice fly. It's not about the people's stats. It's about getting the runner home. And if I don't get the runner home, then I don't care nothing about my stats. When you become selfish, you always worry about you. You're not worried about everybody else. You're not worried about who you're married to. You're worried about you. I don't. You forgot. This is a we thing. And if we ain't gonna come together, then why are we together? Why I'm holding your time up? Why you holding mine up? Because if we ain't gonna fix what's broke, then what do you do? See, some of the stuff, if we come to the reality and the truth and just stand up and go like, it's broke, you know it's broke, and I know it's broke. How long we gonna keep playing like it's not broke? How long we gonna keep lying to ourselves? Now, you can keep lying to yourself, but I'm not lying to myself, because if it's broke, it's broke. Either we do what we need to do to fix it, or why we still together. Because if you stay with somebody that you really and got to a place that you done fell out with and you did all that, you ultimately start getting to a place of hate.
That's right.
Dislike. I dislike everything you do now. Now all you do is raise hell all the time. And then people say, well, if you ain't happy, you can just leave. That's usually where you going. And the truth is, you mad because I told you I wasn't happy. You never heard me that I wasn't happy. Let me see what I can do to fix you. Because if you're on team, then if I tell you I'm not happy, then what are you willing to do to make adjustments for whatever it is that we need to fix?
So basically, you crying out.
That's
Right. Go ahead. You let them know.
Yeah.
And normally it happens way before it gets to that point.
Mm-hmm.
You cry out so many years, and then you get to a point to where I'm done.
Yeah.
My crying days are over now.
Once that done stuff happens,
Done.
once that done stuff happens, I was married 27 years, and I remember one day I told my ex, I said, I was standing in the door like this. I said, I'm this close to leaving you. I'm this close to leaving you. My chest is out the door and my back's still in the house, but I'm this close to leaving you if you don't fix stuff. You know what she told me? Is that a threat? I said, hell no, it ain't a threat, it's a promise. You thinking I'm threatening you? No, I'm not threatening you. I'm telling you where I'm at. And so, see, with men, we never stay there. We never tell where we at till it's too late. I'm telling you what I need. I'm telling you where I at. And if you're not willing to make adjustments, then I'm gonna struggle. Because sometimes people think you have to be with them. Because if you ain't willing to make adjustments, that's basically what you're saying. You ain't going nowhere. I'm not sure that's a good idea to be playing with. I'm really not. I'm just telling you. But when you take hits as a man, and then when you get to the point to where the hits don't matter no more, it's like your shoe. When you put on a shoe that rubs on your corn, when it first starts, that corn will be sore because the shoe is rubbing. Then the corn starts to develop into a callus. It gets hard. And what it says is, I'm protecting myself against pain. And when your heart get callous, I'm protecting myself against pain. What you say, how you think, and how you feel don't matter anymore.
Well, I guess opposite to listening, I guess what you're saying is like, if you're in a relationship with a man, with a woman, whatever relationship is, it's a team sport. And then whatever you got, you have to bring it to the table as a team. If you don't bring it to the table as a team, the team is not gonna win.
The team not going anywhere.
It don't matter who shoots more shots or whatever. We come together, we build this thing as a team. And if you got one sitting in the corner ain't doing nothing, then the team can't win. So until we come together as a team, we quit the men, we trying to carry the whole load, we trying to take all the shots. And just leave us sitting over there looking. Instead of coming together, hey, can't sit over there and look, what you gonna anticipate? You gonna pass me the ball? You want me to shoot? I understand that now.
Mhm.
So if you just sitting over looking, you get mad because I'm shooting. Well, say something, and it's vice versa.
And see, sometimes you have to have that. See, this is what I tell folks. Verbal altercation is a must. Change will never take place in your life or around your life without confrontation. What you're unwilling to confront, you're unwilling to fix. Whether it's about you personally or it's about in relationship. Because when you say stuff, you need to be able to say what you say and say it to them and be solid with what you said. I need to explain to you where I'm at. So if this thing go down bad, you won't be sitting here buffering like a TV. You gonna know exactly what happens.
Right.
See that meant, and sometimes it's an ugly conversation, but it's a neat one.
Yes, why, what happened actually comes to the table twice with the same thing, trying to get it straight.
Well, see,
Twice
again-
with the same thing, it's not working after 2 times.
Right. Well, you still come to the point to where, what do we do from here? Because it's hard to stay in a house with somebody you don't like. Hard to stay in the house, you don't like them, they don't like you. That's hell. That means you find stuff to do. You find stuff to do. You go get all 4 of your tires aired up every other day. Just to go up somewhere and say, let me go and get my tires aired up. You go to Walmart and push a buggy down the aisle. Just you reading cans of beans and stuff like that. You just eating up time. You finding ways not to go home. And your house should be your castle. It should be the place that when you clock out at work, you ought to be ready to go home to clock in. But when you start finding ways and hope you get phone calls and hope somebody's doing something else, hope a ball game on, you hope that this, that, and other. When you're doing that, home is hell. And now, guess what? Nobody goes to hell. A rabbit as dorsal as he is ain't going in no hole when he knows a rattlesnake in there.
That's right.
He gonna find another hole. And so as a man, you end up in other places because what I'm looking for ain't at home. But did you explain what it is that you were looking for? Did you ask for what you were looking for? Because see, now once I put the ball in your court, let's see what you got. Because if you can't return serve, I left it over there with you. I left it over there with you.
A lot of women, I had done a little time, so I come home, it was like a culture shock. And I come home, I had to get adjusted to like explaining and give them a solution to the problem that y'all have, and a lot of them just let it go over their head and they just stuck in their way,
Some people don't want to change. See, when I tell you something and you ignore it, you just told me you didn't get what I said. You just told me you don't have to hear, because you hear what you want to hear, and you change what you want to change, and you fix what you want to fix. Most men who suffer from some levels of erectile dysfunction ain't even medication issues you got.
That's right.
You got house issues. Because when you have house issues, your brain check out. You will struggle to be effective in a place that you don't feel like you're comfortable being in, or the place that even wants you. Because anytime you're inviting, arousal is based on inviting. A man's arousal is based on his, and if he's got too much in his head, he can't get endorphins to his lower half. So his lower half won't work because his head is too clouded. And that's not stuff black men talk about, because we usually, the sum total of us is in between our legs. And so we feel that and that's how come the handling of erectile dysfunction is different than blacks and whites.
Yeah.
Because in blacks, women think you're dead. In whites, they hip and you get the medicine. And then they hip and you take the medicine. They go on vacation, they come out, Johnny, remember you got about 4 of those pills. And so, because see, the other half of that is the person who should be cheerleading you. If they're not cheerleading you, you can take erectile dysfunction medicine and still not function. Then you can get around the right person, and then you don't even need them. You talking about, let me turn this off.
No, you did it. You did it.
Yeah.
So I don't need a pill, I just need a new partner.
The truth is, I promise you, a good bit of it is hell.
Yeah.
When you take the lick of advancement and is rejected, as a man, that's a hit. Or there's no effort. Now we're in the legalized rape. Because you don't have any passion. And when you don't have no passion for a man, when you don't have passion, that is a deflator of a man. And it's not, when you stable and potent, in the Bible, David was a man who, David had a lot of women. His son Solomon had 1,000 women. He had, 700 wives, 300 concubines. But his daddy, David, had a lot of women. And so when David was in the bed, sick, and they thought he was dead, his assistant say, the king dead. And they said, no, go get a young woman, throw her in the bed with him. So when they put the young woman in the bed with him and he in touch, they said, yep, the king dead. So, because I don't care who you are, a lot of that stuff is not even based on your age. It's based on endorphins getting to your body because you feel welcome, you feel invited.
That's right.
When you gotta fight and fuss and raise hell and say something 45 times, you just say, keep it, that's all right. And then even if you try, now your body's in disagreement with it. But see, those are things, now see, that don't just come and go. That's a choice of making that continuous. Because as you keep going, you have to keep working. You don't just wake up one day and, ooh, we got the ghoulies for each other. No, we have to keep working to make sure we give and take and make things available. Because if you work, you ain't much of a stud anyway. I'm just telling you, if you got a lot of work and stuff, you all right, but you ain't finna do that much. It just ain't happening.
Like you're saying, baby, when you grow up when we grow up as children, things we go through as children, when you get adult, I don't mean that just because we was a child, that some of that stuff just stick with us.
Right.
It's the same thing. When we get to be men, you in a relationship, we involved like that. I was married 20 years one time. A lot of that stuff I did in the marriage still stuck with me. So I, come to a place and get with other men that done been through it and help me mentor out of it.
You have to learn how to get out. You have to be taught out of stuff. You have to be taught out of stuff. You were taught, like you said, you were taught in it. You have to be taught out of it. You have to expose yourself to bigger and better stuff so you can teach yourself out of stuff. If you don't teach yourself out of stuff, you will duplicate stuff other folks do. And I'm the kind of person, if you're not effective, then I don't know if I need to mimic you. That don't make you a bad person. You can be a good person. It's just some areas in my life I can't mimic you because I don't see enough effectiveness in it. But see, men have not been taught a lot of things, and you haven't been around men, and you hadn't been around people who can help you get rid of stuff. So stuff from your childhood will still attach itself to you. Because one thing people don't want to talk about, men got a little boy that still lives in them. Every person has the little person that lives in them. And oftentimes with women, because they was hurt as children, they still hurt as grown women. Issues that they had as children still deal with them as grown folks. Because if you don't fix it, it'll find a way to attach itself because it was sent with one purpose, to always keep you damaged. If you notice, oftentimes you can see some females. You can see females who grandmama couldn't stay married, mama couldn't stay married, now daughters can't stay married. That's that foolishness that got off of grandmama has been passed down through all that generation.
Amen.
And they're all trying to run around and be a superhero. I don't need a man, all of them. Because it was a mindset that was taught. Yeah,
man,
keep right on going.
Then the man have to carry it.
Yeah, and then you end up getting the damage. That's how come it's important that in the process of dating, that's why folks don't want to date. Your best bet is date, so you can find out what it is you dating. And the best part about that is don't sleep with stuff
Keep
that
your
you ain't
hands
gonna
off.
keep. Keep your hands off so you can see the reality of the person. Because when the damage started coming up and you done married it, you also bought the damage too. Now, if you can get out of it, you're lucky. If you can get it trained, if she'll let you help her. Some women won't let you help them.
Like getting the Carfax, correct?
Baby, you better find out. You better find out all the damage before you take it home because it's yours. You need to find out if it need a bumper, if it need a hood, need a trunk, need a quarter panel. Or if it's a total loss. And some of the most finest looking cars that you see at these women got them big booties on them and you know they got nice paint job on them and the whole inside is shot. And you don't know till you get it because they can hide it in the process. They know how to do it because they have not been put under enough pressure for you to break them out, for the real them to come out. And when the real them come out, you're going like, where did this come from? It was hid. You couldn't see it for the booty.
I'm glad you said that. I was talking to the brother here about a car on the way here. And I was thinking about the vet and how fine that vet is on the outside. But when you get in that sucker, I first got in the vet and I was detailing cars and I said, man, I got to get me one of them. And I had to pull that car around. And I opened that door. I said, well, darn, I got to get all the way down there. You know? And then I said, well, I got in there, and it was like this right here. And then the feeling of it felt like a plywood all around me, no cushion, no nothing. And every bump I hit was hurting every tailbone ever. and that's how it is with a woman.
See, you got to figure out, do I fit? do I fit? Am I willing to invest in you, in the recovery of you? That can be weeks, that can be months, that can be years. Because if she's not willing to conform to what you're trying to help her with, because see, sometimes people can be married to their past more than they're married to their future. And here you are trying to get them to their future, and they still talking about when I was. Mm-hmm. They still talking about what happened to me in the past. Then they say stuff, you just don't know what I've been through. You gave me that key word right there, you threw it. So since you threw it, let's get to moving. And if you're gonna spend all your time playing with stuff in your past, you're never gonna touch your future. I'm about where we're going. I ain't about where you been. I'm not responsible for where you been. And you're not gonna make me accountable for where you've been. Because oftentimes, women will take a man, pull him to him, and you're the responsibility of all that mess behind you. And so if you're gonna make a move in life, if you're gonna get things into place, you have to set boundaries, you have to set things up, and you have to let things know. There's just some things I don't tolerate. I don't, you know, for me, some things you're gonna respect me, I'm gonna respect you. You're gonna talk to me like you ought to, and I'll talk to you like you ought to. You're not gonna just manhandle me and say what you want to say. That's not happening. I'm not the one.
And with that past issue, they'll try to, if you share with them your past, in the moment of them sharing you with their past, they'll try to bring your past up so you can be on the same level with them.
The danger of bringing up a person's past, especially a man, if I tell you one time and you try it on me, you'll never get nothing else. Delilah will get it, but you won't. See, there goes the affirmation. I didn't tell you that for fighting tools. I told you that because that was my wound. And if I told you that was my wound, why would you try to use my wound as a fighting tool for you to win? Because see, if it ain't about us winning, then when you start as an individual winning on your own, you win your argument, she wins hers, you win yours, and you're all keeping score. One of y'all gonna win, but both of y'all gonna lose. So is it worth winning the argument and losing your marriage? So see, that's where it comes down to transparency. And look here, if I tell you something and you bring that back on me, that's all you're gonna get. Okay? Now, what my next spot is, I can't tell you, but I guarantee it won't be here. Because there's nothing worse than taking a hit from what you believe covered you. And as a man, if I believe that a woman covers me, then I don't need you to hit me with nothing but some affirmation. Okay? If I hit a dark spot, I need you to be a light. I hit a rough spot, I need you to help me smooth it out. And I don't need you to raise me. Because oftentimes women trying to be something that they aren't. Well, see, you need to do this, you need to do this. You need to sit down. You need to find yourself safe to do.
I think the women, they look for too many things in a man for this. They looking for a daddy, they looking for a son, they looking for a husband, they looking for too many different things. They don't know how to distinguish the difference between each one of them when they're dealing with male figures. They don't know how to understand it. I ain't gonna have the same relationship with my daddy that I have with my son. I ain't gonna have it. You know, they gotta distinguish them. They thinking all of them the same, but they can't decipher what's going on.
Now, that's funny because, you know, women, they got him as a husband, but treat him as a son.
Yeah.
And usually they can treat you as a son because anytime you enter a relationship and you don't bring that in the relationship, they can treat you how they want to because what you gonna say. They can treat you like a son because anytime you're in a relationship you don't bring that, you enter in as a slave anyway because you got to take orders and everything else because you ain't got nothing to talk about. But then when they treat you that way, when they treat you as a man, this is what I tell men, you can't be giving a woman orders failing.
That's right. Say the last thing. Can't give a woman
orders failing.
Failing.
Yeah, because see, women are too productive for you to give them orders while you failing. You can't be telling me I'm gonna have my own business, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Hey bro, you ain't got one job yet. You talking about something way in the whatever. And it takes the one job to get some money so you can get those jobs going. And women ain't gonna be hearing you talking about what's gonna happen. They want to talk about what is happening. Can you carry your weight? If you go in a relationship, you need to be able to carry your weight. That shuts mouth up. Right. If you can't carry your weight, they got to put money in your pocket, they got to put money in your car, they got to put gas in your car, they got to give you money, they got to do this, they got to do this. Baby, you have just took the back seat with no voice. And even if you make a little money, how long can you make it? Can you be persistent? Can you be consistent? Is this a lifestyle or is this just a habit? Because if it's a lifestyle, you going to work and finding money, doing everything you do, because you don't like being broke and you don't like nobody controlling you. I left my dad's house at 18 because I didn't like his rules. I didn't like his rules. So I went and got my own house. And I didn't have a problem going and get I went and got a job, got my own house. Matter of fact, and shortly after that I got married. First time I got married. I had my own stuff because my daddy had rules I didn't like. Well, if I didn't like the rules, take care of yourself. If you want a voice, take care of yourself. If you want to be able to say something, make sure you can carry your weight. Because if you can't carry your weight, if all you brought was some Peter to the table, she ain't gonna be too happy with that after a while. See, and a lot of us, we think because, you know, we think we show enough good in the bed. We sure enough think we're good in the bed. You're not that good in the bed.
Come on, don't start. Don't do that. Come on now. You know, we all bulls around here. And our head.
That's what we like to think.
Can you imagine what that woman laying there saying? He really thinks he does.
Yeah, because as you're getting older, you're fading.
Yes,
whether you think you are or not, you're fading. As you're getting older, you're fading. Some of you is fading. Whether you like it or not, you're fading. You're fading. I don't care what you think, how you feel, you're fading. And so see, just like she can't mesmerize you with sex in the bed, you can't mesmerize her with sex in the bed, because after sex, there's light bill, there's house note, there's car note, there's insurance, and none of it can be paid with sex. So you can't go to like people and say, well, we had a good sexual night last night. Well, you're gonna have it in the dark tonight. So women want to know where do you stand, not by what you say, by what you do. See, if a woman ain't willing to make, if you ain't willing to make an investment in a woman's life, then what you need it for? And part of your investment is taking care of stuff you need to do. That's old school. This ain't new school. Old school used to pay for food and clothes or whatever. They could buy shoes for kids that wasn't even their kids. Just seen a woman had a need. Boom, paid for it. This generation, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that because we feel like we should get something back. And that's the problem. And how you gonna be the head of something when you're really not leading? And if a woman thinks you can't lead, she's not gonna give you the driver's. She's not gonna give you the driver's seat.
Get in the back.
She's gonna ask you to get in the back. You can't impress a woman driving her car.
Baby boy is a good example, huh?
It's in the movie, but it's real. It's real. I mean, people, you trying to impress a woman, you driving the car.
Mama boyfriend was in the kitchen cooking grits. Your mama come out butt naked out. Butt naked.
See, those type things are where you try to get people. As this generation has to learn. If you're gonna be a man, then you have to man up. And if you're gonna be a man, you don't mind manning up, because manning up has its value. It has its privileges. It helps you as a man to feel better about yourself as a man when you man up. Part of your manhood goes down when you can't feel good about yourself.
I mean, like when I was coming up, I hung around older guys. I didn't hang around guys that I felt that you wasn't going nowhere. You can't tell me, you can't show me nothing. I need to hang around older guys. Then once I met like Mike and people that have their own business, I'm bouncing off of them. How can I, hey, I'm not where you at, but how can I get where you, hey man, when you go up the ladder, I'm going up the ladder. I'm gonna help you get where you got to go. You help me get where I got to go at.
Well, iron sharpens iron. If you show me your friends, I'll show you your future. If you show me what you run with, I'll show you where you're going. Because if you got people who are scrapping and scrounging, trying to get to the next level, doing what they need to do legally, because people can do stuff and do it illegally, and you trying to do scraps and all that kind of foolishness, you ain't going nowhere. You finna pay some fine and probably do some time. You're gonna be awesome for a few days, but after that, you're coming off the map.
I used to think, get a job and retire. I'm like, man, I can't get on for that kind of money, man. I want more. I want this, that, and I can't get it on a straight 8-hour job.
Money is power. Money is power. When you got money, you got power. You go on vacation, you do stuff. That's why I tell women, you can't have money and time.
Can't get it.
That's right.
You can't have money and time.
Can't have.
If you got a man, he cannot give you money and time. If he gives you time, he ain't gonna have no money. But if you give him, if you let him get the money, the time you get him is gonna be better than any other time you get. We can have 7 days off with no money, or we can have 3 days on with some money.
Yeah.
So which one you want? You can't get money and time. Because anybody who makes money don't have time.
He worked too much.
Athlete, lawyer, doctor, don't matter. If they make money, they don't have a lot of time.
Right.
But if you learn to maximize the time you have, you won't be complaining. That's the dumbest thing I've heard when I hear women say, he worked too much. And you usually finna start playing with a joker who don't work at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then you wake up to the nightmare is he got plenty playtime, but he ain't got nothing else. Now you done lost what you had playing around. I know a lady who did that same thing. She started playing with a dude she had met in the streets. Then the dude ended up going to prison. So she ends up talking to him while he's in prison, and so she's writing letters to him, and they writing letters, and her husband found them. He found the letters of you writing to a joker in prison. So you lose everything. house, everything. Then when the dude got out of prison, he got another woman. Now you got nothing. You lost everything you had playing with somebody who wasn't even on your level. And see, that's why it's important for you to put yourself in a place of receiving and learning how to do stuff on your level. Making demands that, like I say, you definitely don't play with what you can't keep. Definitely. That's just crazy if you do. That's Russian roulette. Keep spinning, you're gonna line up the bullet with the chamber. And the dumb part of Russian roulette is you blow your own brains out. You wasn't shot. You were shot by yourself. So if you ain't trying to go somewhere and do some things as a man, take the hit. There's nothing wrong with taking it. As a man, you're gonna take some hits. You're gonna take hits and you have to keep on going. You're gonna be tired and you still have to keep on going. There's days I was in the warehouse that I work in. I walk 7 to 8 miles, and I can tell when I used to get 7 to 8 miles, my legs hurt. And I go home, I get me a shower, get me a glass of wine, get in my recliners, and I'm sitting there because I gotta go back tomorrow. I can't be talking about my legs hurt, I can't come. No, I gotta go back. But they'll be good in the morning. At 5 o'clock when I roll over, I'm strapping on my boots again, back out the door. 7, 8 miles, I know my legs hurt. I done figured it out now. I already know they're gonna hurt.
You ain't gotta look at your watch.
No, I ain't gotta look at my watch. I don't even have to look at my thing to find out how many miles I walk. When my legs start hurting on the inside, I'm in 7, 8 mile range. I know that automatically.
Good.
And so I already know that. So what I do is prepare myself because I have a very good job. Plus, pastoring and all the other things I do. I have to do all the things I have to do, and I don't have room to say I'm tired. And I have to take my wife out of town and do things with her and keep my house straight. I have to do all of that, because if I don't do that, then guess what? Now, oftentimes when women saying you work all the time, that's because you don't do nothing with her. If you don't do nothing with a woman, she knows you pretty much busy doing other things. And usually if you get too many other things on your plate, she's not included. So sometimes you have to make the assessment to do some things, put things on your agenda, put things in place so you can do the things you need to do.
A lot of times, guys don't. I had to learn that talking to Bishop because I would burn myself out. Go, Monday through Sunday, Monday through Sunday, Monday through Sunday. He said, man, you ought to put everything down and just get away from it all. And I had to learn to turn my brain off. Hey, where you going? I'm going by Bishop for the weekend. What you going up there for? I'm just going up there and turn my brain. Because if I sit here, I'm going to go do things to the truck. I'm going to find things. And my problem is I never say no to nobody. Hey, man, you think, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I'll help you. I'll come over there and help you. And then my wife's sitting up there saying, you go do stuff for everybody. When it's time for me, you busy.
Burn out.
But then I had to learn, balance everything. Okay, I'm going to take her out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go do that. I have to turn my brain, get away from it all. This weekend, I will not be available. I'm going to Alabama, turn my brain off and do nothing. And then I'll come back and deal with all that as I get back in the city. But you got to get away, take a vacation. Go do something for you where you can have your mental state to where you can just really gather everything. Just sometimes I just sit, turn the TV on. Sometimes I have my phone. I just sit there and I just think outside of what's really going on. Everybody, we all got problems, just different addresses. We all got the same problem, different addresses, but nobody really never want to sit around and talk about it. And this is just like a little outlet. The first Man to Man started where?
On the phone.
On the phone. Me and him talking to each other, and I'm like, man, hold on, you got a minute, Bishop? Yeah, I got a minute. What you got? I said, man, my boy dealing with some things, but can you talk to him? Merge him out on the phone. Then before you know it, I got another dude on the phone. Then I got another dude. Everybody trying to overtalk each other to talk to him. I can bring it together, but I can't get the concept to talk like he done been through a lot. He done been here. He done dealt with a lot of people more than I have. But I can give you what I got. But when it becomes too much for me, I can't. Hey, Bishop, you got a minute? Hey, man, look, I got a hot one, bro. He ready to jump on her. Get him on the line. He calmed him down, and And one day, dude called me, said, man, I need you to get Bishop on the line right now. Bishop, I hope this dude available. Bro, you available? Bro, I got a hot one on the line. And that's just how the man just sitting around talking, and you find out, man, you're not the only person dealing with this stuff. And
If you don't fix this stuff what a lot of men don't recognize. Like what I was telling him with the cut off the brain. If you don't fix this stuff, you can create disorders in your own self that can be damaging. I went through a process called hypervigilance. Hypervigilance is a disorder to where you overthink way too bad. And mine was so bad that it gave me anxiety attacks. It gave me all kind of fears and phobias. I'd wake up at night crying because I'm trying to keep something from happening that ain't never even happened. I'm in my head. So you know, we deal with stuff. And when that stuff checked down in my sex life, when I went to my urologist, I went in there, I'm talking to him, he started kind of halfway smiling, and I'm going like, because I was telling him stuff. And he kind of halfway smiling, and I'm going like, I don't think it's too damn funny to be sitting up here, you know. He said, well, Cook, you're going through a disorder called hypervigilance. And what the hell is that? He says, overthinking. He says, and oftentimes people who got businesses and stuff and all this stuff, you put so much stuff in your head, it'll kill your body. It'll shut it down. And I probably went 2.5 months. I couldn't have sex for 2.5 months. And so it was devastating because my brain would not line up. I could get up in the morning, start brushing my teeth, and I would have anxiety attacks. And when I would have the anxiety attacks, it was hard to breathe. Then I get to the door. My wife would walk me to the door because she walks me to the door every day. And I start crying. Now she's afraid because she don't know, because I can't even articulate what it is. And she said, what's wrong? My answer was, I don't know. Because I didn't know. Because I had too much into my head, way too much. And so men don't have no outlets. Because see, for me, I got, my friends are very small, you know, Derek and a couple other people, and that's about it. I don't have a whole lot of stuff because you just don't have it. When you're starting to grow and you move and you do things pretty good, Mike, you know that, you don't have a lot of friends. You have some associates
that you can trust,
but you don't have, yeah, you don't have many jokers you can come peel yourself off to and be just transparent. Because most folks are happy to hope you fall because they didn't like where you was in the first place. So, but that's why I tell men, fix stuff before it breaks. Start figuring out ways to shut yourself down. And your wife don't have to be with you. Take yourself out there. Go find something to do. Besides slapping booty and chasing a woman. Go find somebody to get you a meal to sit down by water and just let your head air out. Do something that don't require. See, if you can figure out stuff like that, you can save yourself. But what I found out with a lot of men, it's hard for you to save yourself because you don't want to admit you got some issues. You got some issues. And you know what my answer was to everything? I'm all right. I'm all right until I started to break.
Just biting on more than you could chew.
Yeah, because see, that's what men do. You know, I'm not finna let this whoop me. I'm not finna let this handle me. So I'm all right. I'm all right. And kept going till it took me too far. And when it took me too far, I couldn't get back.
And I use that I'm all right in a spiritual aspect because my pastor at the time kept telling me that you all right? You all right? He was trying to coach me and to say I'm all right when everything was tore up.
Because we use that I'm all right to lie to ourselves.
Lying to yourself. I had at that time, he didn't know it because I'm all right. You know, wasn't talking about it. I'm all right. I was homeless to the bone. I'm a deacon. I was homeless to the bone. I had lost my job. I lost my whole family. Had a stroke, heart attack, aneurysm. Had the COVID, pneumonia in the lungs, memory loss. I'm all right. you know. And every time hey, I'm all right. Hey, and before the people, I'm all right. Hey, I'm good. I'm all right. Going to work, aneurysm, you know, didn't have time to go to the doctor, had benefit. Didn't have time to go to the doctor. I'm all right. I'm all right. I had bloodshot under my skin. I'm all right. You know, and that's what they teaching in the church right now today.
Well, see, people never want
You
to
know.
be true because
Yeah.
we get to the point. When I went through my first divorce, I lost a lot. I lost a lot of money. Lost a lot of money, a lot of stuff, assets and stuff. And I was in my apartment and I almost had a nervous breakdown, saying, "I'm all right." And when I almost had a nervous breakdown, things kind of went black on me one day. And I ran, when I finally got some light, I ran out of the apartment, got in my truck, called my doctor. He says, "Cook, you're threatening a nervous breakdown." He says, "And you're gonna have to let some stuff go. And you know, you don't want to let go of stuff and lose everything." And so I was trying to keep everything and try to keep everything straight and divorce a wife and not let her take everything. And finally I had to come to a conclusion. Nigga, you lose. That's what I had to come to the conclusion and tell myself. Nigga, you losing. You about to lose it. You. Okay. This is a decision. You going in, and guess what? It's causing you out the wazoo. And it's gonna cause you out the wazoo, and either you gonna do it or you ain't. Because guess what? It didn't matter that I had a house that was 5,500 square feet. I never wanted to go home. I ain't care about going home. I ain't care nothing about going home. I ain't care nothing about nothing. Because guess what? When a house is miserable, I don't care what size it is. And I finally, when we got divorced, we got rid of the house. I had property and stuff, sold all that. I gave her half the money and went on about my business. I had daycare with over 200 kids in it. So we lost a good bit of money. But I kept telling myself, I'll recover. I'll recover. And that sounded good. It was good for a while. Then after a while, when the negativity of it hit, which you don't have all that you used to have, and your whole voice changes, your whole thing changes. Because when you take a lick and you're not stable, it'll make you find a way to learn how to because I had to learn how to go from anything I wanted to not much of anything I needed. I went from that state, and it took me 15 years to recover. 15 years to recover. And I had to keep telling myself, but I had to finally get to a point to tell myself, it's all right to say, I ain't doing good today. And that's one thing men don't like to say. Tired, wore out, mad, angry, and everything else. It'd be good just to say, the day ain't a good day. I ain't doing good. I don't want to do good. Because at some points, I'm tired of saving everybody, and helping everybody, and doing everything. I don't want to. And for me, as a pastor, I would disappear on your behind. I'll disappear on you. I'll catch you on Sunday, but on them days I'm off, you're going to have to be on your own. If the doctor say you got 3 days, call me on the last one. Because see, if I don't be around, I ain't gonna be able to pray for both of us. So, and oftentimes what people struggle with that is, especially pastors, you give so much to people, who give anything to you? How do you survive? Who gonna pray for you? You taking what belonged to God and made it yours. And when you make it yours, that's why it wear you out. And so you have to understand, life can give you a lot of stuff, and some stuff you have to recognize, I can do this, I can't do this, I have this, I don't have this. That helps a lot too. Because as boys, we lie about our toys.
Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, you can talk up on something that you might not wish you had to talk to them on. But some of it is easier to just tell the truth and back up and leave it alone than it is to be trying to do stuff and stop trying to be somebody we're not. If you're not there, say you're not there. If you can't handle it, say you can't handle it. Just say, I want this and I'm working that toward it. If you do that, you put yourself in the perspective to gain ground. But when you start lying to yourself and you keep hitting places, and that's how come oftentimes as a man, you've been lying to that woman forever. We going on this place, we gonna do this, we gonna do that. You ain't did nothing. And usually that comes from lack of planning.
Everybody don't have money at the same time.
Well, what I just said, see, that comes down to planning. If I got a plan, if I know it's something that I want to do with you, I have to position myself and plan it, and I get to pick when we do it. Because if I'm paying for it, I get to decide when we do it. Now, it's part of my plan, but I can't keep telling a woman I'm gonna do something and don't ever do it. Because now she just got used to you lying. And so even if you make a step towards something and you don't get there, let the step be in the ballpark. And if the step is in the ballpark, then that means I'm working toward it and I'll be there the next time. And so see, that's part of the thing of whining and dining and doing some things. I mean, because let me tell you this. It don't matter if you start all over or you fix what's out at home. Because if you start all over, you got to do the same thing that you did in the beginning of anything else. So you either got a choice, start all over or fix what is at home. Now, at home, you pretty much know how that operates. So I need to work at fixing it because I get somebody else that looks good and be nowhere close to what it is that I had at home because I didn't have time to investigate. So see, sometimes you have to sit down and say, what are my options? How much do I need to invest in this before I tear it down? Because going out here and building new is a horse of a different color. Because first of all, women are nowhere close to where they used to be. Women are frail. They're not something you can really stable on. You can't put a lot of weight on because people can be weighty and they be good long as you got. But where can they be when you can't produce as you used to? Because see, they got a word, ride or die. I don't need a ride or die. I need a ride and die. See, because if you got an or, you got an option. You might do it and you might not. And is an adjective. You add it to me. So I need you to be with me when we riding, and I need you to be with me when we dying. Because we gonna have that if we gonna get to the place that we supposed to be. But if you ain't willing to put the effort in, it don't matter. If you ain't willing to put the effort in, I don't care what nobody tell you. Everybody, I'm only responsible for me at my house. I'm not responsible for my wife. She has to be responsible for her. I have to be responsible for opening myself up and making sure she knows what it is I need. It's her job to make sure I get what I respond to her about. If not, then you made a wise choice that you're not going to do it. And if you're not going to do it, thank you. Okay? I can't tell you what the consequences are going to be. But it's good for you to tell me what you're not going to do. It's not my responsibility for the consequences. Because you can direct the consequences if you hear me. You can't direct the consequences when you don't hear me. Anybody got any questions? Mike?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I been got rid of my problem.
Anybody got anything they'd like to ask?
Us. If you ask these questions, you be the next one to get married.
No, he'll be calling me in a little while last minute.
What you said, Mike? You might say married. Yeah, you get married. You got a moment.
Well, I got something to say. So, you know how you was talking about just working, doing this and doing that. I work in a refinery, 10 to 12 hour days. And when I'm not working, I'm doing photography. That's my business.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so when I got the text about the man-to-man, I said, you know what, I'm gonna request this day off because these sessions is like therapeutic for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't get to, sit around a bunch of men in the atmosphere like this here, and relax, because, it takes me away from,
Right.
the plant life, doing the photography. I get a call, last minute call, today I gotta go do a job when I leave here.
Mm-hmm.
Then I gotta do another one after I gotta do a baby shower at Dillon. Then when I leave out, I gotta go across the river and do There's a guy, he called me up, he wanted me to take pictures of his daughter, his daughter in the date, yeah, to the prom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I mean, it's like it's ongoing, like Milk say, you know. So last night I'm at a gala. Me and my fiance, we at a gala. So we bidding on things. So one of the bids was the IP. You win 2 free nights.
Mm-hmm.
So she bidded on that, and she also bid on another one free night. So I was hoping she win. You know. It was like a $200 bid. But anyway, she won both of them. You know, she won one of them, then she won it was something else. So she said, "Oh, baby, we're going to IP for 2 nights." And I'm like, damn. Even though the room gonna be free, and now I'm gonna have to spend money on travel, even though it's right there, but you know, then she gonna go out and eat, even though they give you a $50 voucher, but it's, you know, we gonna eat that up as soon as we get there. I'm like, only thing I wanna do is just, if I do go, I just wanna go in there and just go to sleep, just lay in the bed, and just, that shit not gonna happen, bro. That shit not gonna happen, bro. So so a vacation to me is like, doing nothing, not traveling. I mean, I like to travel, don't get me wrong, but sometimes a man just need that solitude, you know what I'm saying, just being in a room.
Only nothing on the agenda.
And I got another issue too. I got a little house, a little piece of property that I'm working on right now. So I was renting it out and thing. I had my daddy staying up there, he moved out now. So they gutted it out, painted it, put a roof on it and all this and that. I take her over there. She went to saying, "Oh, this gonna be a bedroom here. We gonna open this wall up here. This the kitchen gonna be here. Island gonna be here." I'm like saying to myself, "Motherfucker, you do this ain't your shit." So the house was divided at the top. I had a room in the back, but it was divided. It was like a studio where people could come to the back and go in and stay there. So you know, so by them gutting now, you like when you walk in front of the house, you go straight to the back. Oh yeah, we could leave this here open, and this could the kitchen in the back, or this could be an extra bedroom. And I'm like, so anyway, so in a couple of more months here, be ready. Now I'm staying with her now. I got my own shit, but you know I'm staying with her over there at Columbia Park. Now you know things start to, you know, it's looking good at the house. I was gonna be moving ready in a couple of months. Now she saying, the only thing she telling me in my ear now, I ain't never been on my own. I always been on my own since I've been 18. So now she feel it's some kind of little friction in there now because she feel like she's staying with a man now, even though we not married. But now she feel like she ain't on her own. But you just like I'm paying rent and water over here, you gonna pay rent and water here too. you doing my shit now. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just thought I'd say that just to get it off my chest. That shit is home. That shit is
Look, we feel you. We feel you.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh wait, hold up. I ain't much gonna say I'm a king of her castle. But I'm gonna say when we get there, see how I come home and the TV loud. You know, I really don't be wanting to hear that, but I be wanting to just don't hear nothing. That's why I'm working, you know, to make my money so I can take care of that. But I got one more. A couple of weeks ago, she had went to Jamaica for like 3 days. Her and a girlfriend, right? When she told me she was gone, I said, all right, cool, you know, like. But when I got home, it felt so good to be like come home. Not hearing no TV. The TV ain't come on in 3 days, bro. I ain't had nobody to tell me pick up them clothes. You know, I'm nasty. When I get a towel, I don't wash that motherfucker till I get back in it. You know what I'm saying? But if she got to get in, she'll tell me wash it. I got to, you know, she wash them dishes, take that trash out. So I'm in a bed like this here, bro. I heard a voice, bro. I said, wash that tub. She was there. So I text her, I said, girl, I'm hearing voices in here. Yeah, man, and then the next night, I look like from the bedroom, you can see the kitchen. I swear, bro, I thought she had passed. But she's Jamaican now.
She be on you that much, Lou?
Yeah.
That's why you hearing the voice.
Y'all know her. But you know, but she got me right though. She got me just where I'm gonna say this
They
here.
trying to keep you in line.
She got me right where she want me at, and she got me right where I need to be at. Now I'm gonna leave it like
But let
that.
me ask you this question.
Mhm.
Are you planning on marrying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I even got a date set, but you know, yeah.
But that, what I'm telling you is that when you start talking about marrying somebody
Mhm.
and you still feel with stuff, you got issues with stuff, my stuff, your stuff,
Yeah.
then why you marrying?
What you mean, my stuff or your stuff? What you mean?
You talking about the house? When you,
Where's mine? Her name ain't on it, so I ain't gonna say it's hers or her name not on it.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
so I mean,
but
it's
see, now
technically,
when you marry-
legally, it's mine.
Well, but when you marry, you
But we're not
supposed to
married
take
yet,
your
so
stuff
we
in.
talking about us right now. We talking about right. We talking about today. We ain't talking about. Yeah, we talking about today. Now we can get married.
Speaking on that, I respect
Huh?
that to the fullest.
I have my own place. If I bring a woman in my home, I marry her now. You know, that's where I have to take speak myself, go get me and her a place. Cause ain't no way in the world she gonna take that place from my children.
Okay, well, I understand
You
that.
know?
But see, now, ain't nothing wrong with going and get us a place because I already had this.
Yeah.
And it's going to be established for my kids. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and if I deal with anyone, I'm gonna let them know up front. Don't you think you coming here and take shit?
Well,
Nothing mine.
Well, the thing
I
with
can
that
look
is,
outside.
when you set boundaries, you start finding out what you got, what you have, and what you're going to do with it. If you can't set boundaries, then you won't struggle in relationship with mine and yours. Because see, it's if the rightful way is ours, and it's what we need for where we're going. But when you got kids and stuff involved in stuff, and you got age differences and all that, already had this before you came, then I can't take that. I can't put my hands on that. But we can go out and get something that
In a
we are
sense,
investing in it together.
But is it fair?
it's-
Is it fair? Is it fair? Like right now, I'm paying the water and the light what we have right now.
Mhm.
I ain't got no problem with that. I'm there, you know. So I get over there. I feel like your turn. You pay this light, the light and water. You ain't paying that damn market. You ain't paying that rent. You ain't paying that big ass rent.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Ain't nothing
Come on now.
That's still a workout issue.
Yeah.
That's a workout issue for people to find out what are you willing to bring to the table.
What I was about
Because
to
if
say.
you're not willing to give, then see, a good relationship only works if you got two givers, not a giver and a taker. Because a taker gonna always take, and a giver's gonna always give. If you got two givers, both be giving, we're giving for one cause.
And what you saying right now, she always say that. She's not getting. I mean, in other words, she's saying that I'm the selfish one.
Mhm.
I mean, I do what I do. I do what we
She
agreed
right,
on.
she right.
I do more than that too. But at the same time, huh?
I apologize, cutting up my opinion. It's sad to say, male or female, no matter what age they are, if you know that's not your house, don't go in there and try to run that shit. Play your part. Play your part, man.
See,
Don't
bro-
come in my house talking about you not changing nothing to argue with it. Now we could talk about it, and if I agree with you, let's do it. You know, if I feel as though it's convenient for me, and you know, like I said, don't male or female, my opinion, don't go in nobody's house knowing you ain't put down on that, knowing you ain't paid a note on that, knowing you ain't contribute towards it.
You ought to be asking what you're doing.
She
what
got
you're doing.
she got a rude awakening when she come over there. She got a rude awakening. When she get there, that damn wall gonna be closed. Like I rip that back out, just like it originally was. Yeah.
Just like me, my man.
So I'm gonna be there when the contractor be there. I let her come. I called her and said, look, I got a date. I made some arrangements with the contractor. She talking to this motherfucker like this, her shit. The man must think it hit on mine. She owned this shit.
Forget your ideas.
Huh?
Yeah, I was talking with your fiancée. She told me.
Yeah. It definitely text me back talking about, yeah, the price gonna go up now. I've been talking to you. Man, this mother, I talked to her, I said, man, look, me and you gonna meet over there again, and I'm gonna tell you what's going on. But don't worry about her. Cause he digging, ain't no together right now because we ain't married. Now, what if we get married and we buy something else, you know, that's you know, but
Did I hear you say if we get married?
and I said when. I'm not saying if, but when we get married, you know, we buy something else, you know, we come to agreement on that. But as of right now, So, you know, and then I was like, what I'm this close to saying, look, why don't you just go buy your own shit, you know, but I'm not gonna do that, but that's how she make me feel.
Just get out of our own room and you get yours.
Leave my ass right down.
Peace.
Nah,
Let me
man.
say that.
That shit ain't gonna work. I can't do that. I can't do that here.
He said earlier, a marriage is over long before you sign the paper. Well, to add to that, piggyback on that, a marriage begins long before you say I do. If you can't come to an agreement before you say I do, I think you need to step back and evaluate what you're getting yourself into. I'm done with that.
Contract.
Yeah, but you can't.
Once
But
that
you're not
ball
gonna.
starts rolling,
It's over. Once that
over.
train takes off,
Yeah.
it's a hard train to stop, boy. It takes off slow, but once he pick up steam,
if I start seeing we're not
we're not
agreeing
seeing eye to eye,
eye
we're
to
not
eye.
coming to agreement. We got
Why
problems before we get started, so we need to deal with this before we go any further.
Make
I
a
tell
contract.
them marriage is hell already, and then add foolishness to it. But marriage ain't no easy road. It's a difficult road, very difficult road.
Very.
If you see people celebrating anniversary, hell, that's on that party because we ain't killed each other. Each year, that's all it is a party. We ain't choking each other. I mean, that's all it is.
Like I said about playing basketball, like I said, in dating, I'm dating right now. And I'm married 20 years one time, the other time like 15 years. When I'm dating right now, well, I'd rather spend another 10, 15 years making up the contract and make sure I got it right before I go sign off for something to be married. Because like I said, once you sign that marriage contract, that's the end of it. So let's make sure we got everything
Changes
right
the whole
in
dynamic
the contract.
you have to fight.
Because once you sign that contract, geez,
But
that's
see,
it.
because you still
Let's
have
make
to
it up.
deal
Let's
with
make
who's
it up.
leading this house, who's running this house, who's doing whatever we do.
Well,
Because if you don't have those type of
we know that when we going in there, you know that you can't come in there with no sense.
Well, the other thing for
you
me
know,
is, if I can tell you, how do y'all handle money?
financially, I mean, how we handle it, I
You
take care. I
got your
take care.
money. Well, you got your money. She got her money.
Well, yeah, basically, yeah.
See,
But
when-
she on me about let's put our money together.
Joint account.
Yeah, talking about let's put an account together where you
See,
know.
the thing for me is this here. If I can't trust you with my money, I can't trust you with my heart.
But I got a question.
But she trusts me with her purse. She let me hold her purse, you know.
That's the one you bought. That's the one you bought.
The cards in there.
That's real.
Yeah, but you know, for his money though, we pretty good with it though. I mean, she got her own money, I got my own money. You know, I take care of the light water, and you know,
That's what you take care of.
take care of the gas on the
But what I'm
car.
saying, like she said,
Huh?
do y'all have any? Do y'all have anything
no, I
together?
ain't
Do y'all
paying
have an
that.
account together?
No,
Savings?
no.
So what you're saying is,
Uh-uh.
you're gonna save, and I'm gonna save, and you're gonna do, and I'm gonna do. That's
Well, that's the way it is right now, but you know, all that's in the making right now. Cause she did bring it up
But
about
the
that.
problem is, it's gonna be hard for you, Louis.
It's hard now.
And it's gonna be harder for you to give up your money to somebody you ain't really comfortable with handling it.
Oh, I'm trusting now. I
It
mean,
ain't trust. It's just you selfish
have
as hell when it comes down to your
Well,
money.
I mean, I'm not, because that's what she says, selfish, but I think it's more budgeting, you know.
Oh, you-
More budgeting is the term.
You budgeting?
Budgeting, yeah.
What are you budgeting,
Does
Louis?
that fall under tight?
Huh?
Does that fall under tight?
Overtime, she don't get. Business, she don't get.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? That's me.
Okay.
You met me like that, though. You know, it ain't like I started getting this overtime after we didn't got married and opened a business after we got married. That's my outlook on it. I could be wrong. A lot of men might go against me or somebody agree.
I can agree with that overtime.
Yeah, your overtime you didn't get.
I bring that to the table, what I made, but that overtime.
You have a joint account, and you should have your account for yourself, your own account.
Question about
Yeah.
that's what
Roll
you
up
said,
the
you know,
joint
marriage.
account. You have a joint account, but you have
Dollar
a
weekend.
You got the marriage
you have to
account,
figure out
you
like
got
that.
her,
Yeah.
then you got your account. That's usually how it go. That's the question I'm gonna ask.
Well, in
And
our
every
house,
situation is different.
yeah, every
situation
it's
is
about bending
different.
it to where it fits. But in our house, I got a checking account. She's got a checking account. We have a joint savings account, and we have a joint business account. And so I give her money because I handle the money in our house.
Yes, sir.
Even her money. Her money, she gets to keep money for what she needs to do, hair, nails, whatever she wants. I give her money every week for gas, work, and all that stuff. But all the other money comes into one pile. I pay bills, I give her money to put in savings, I take some money and put in business account. She have access to both of them, any she wants. But the rule is never spend money from savings that I don't know. And I don't spend money from savings you don't know. Because if you spend money and I don't know it, then some come up, my head was thinking we had this, but you done spend it somewhere else. So she never spends money. She'll tell me, babe, I need some more money. Okay, move this over there. See, if you're gonna play the game to win, then you have to have 2 team players that's worried about winning. And it's not about who's in charge and who. As long as you're doing stuff good, and she'll tell people quick, my husband pays everything. I don't know nothing about nothing. She don't. If she drives a Jaguar. If you ask her how much a car note is, she don't know. She don't even know when it's paid. She don't have a clue. Because I take care of that in my house and all that stuff. Because I was doing that as a single man. So when we married, that was my whole thing. I'm already taking care of house note and all this kind of stuff.
Correct. So
now when you come, because when I started talking to her, one of the things I asked was questions like, how much money you make? That stuff we have to talk about. And how much money you make? I asked her, how much rent do you pay on your house? She said, well, I pay $800 a month. I was in an apartment paying $1,100 a month. Well, I'm thinking that's $1,900 in the house budget. So that's 2 water bills, 2 light bills. How much you pay for your car? So the whole time I'm talking to her, I'm calculating numbers in my head. So then I asked her, what's your credit score? She said, are you serious? I said, yes. She said, why you need to know my credit score? I said, because if you don't pay your bills, you won't pay mine. So I need to know, what am I dealing with before we even get started and get into this stuff? Because all of this, when I marry you, I take all of this in. I don't need to get in here and find out all this stuff that I didn't know. I need to know everything. I need to know how things function. Because I had businesses and stuff, so keeping up with all that kind of stuff is stuff I do. She's comfortable because she tells people she don't have no worries. She don't have to worry about that. If something cut off, I'm supposed to pay it. So she ain't no you supposed to pay it. How come you didn't pay? She don't do that.
That credit score, like the man was speaking on, I think we don't start worrying about that. I'll make 48 in July. I don't think I never asked that question to her, bro. But as you start achieving things and receiving things, start coming up in the world, you're like, hold up, baby, what you doing?
Right.
What's your score?
Right.
When that Malibu came out.
Yeah. All of those things, because if those things hit you, and she yours, all the baggage she got comes with her. See, I need to know what happened in your last relationship. I need to know a relationship before that. I need to know all that, because all that left wounds. I need to know, can I deal with it? Now, the funny part about that, you only gonna tell me your hair. You never gonna tell me the other dude's hair. So I have to just kind of figure it out and Neanderthal through it, because you tell me, he called me bitches and whores, but you never told me you called him MF and all that kind of stuff. So, you told me his side and you painted a really ugly picture.
Yeah.
But then when I get with you, I find out the picture ain't quite as ugly as you portrayed it to be. Because a lot of stuff I'm watching you do, that would have made any man go off. Because if you doing it for a joker who take care of you, I know you did it to a joker who wouldn't take care of you. So you tell that lie all day long, because some habits are just your habits, they're what you do. So see, when you start talking about money is a deciding factor in a relationship. Don't let nobody tell you all this, you keep your money, I keep my money. No, if we can't put money together, we don't need to put hearts together. That don't work. Because see, if I can't trust you with my money, I can't trust you with my heart. I can't trust you with my life. If I gotta watch, my dad got ready to get married and he waited till a week or two. I think it was like a week before he got ready to marry the lady. and he busted with a prenuptial agreement. Boom. If you can't sign this, we can't get married. And she was paying for the wedding. And so he come told me, he said, son, you know, I put a prenuptial agreement on. I said, Dad, you know what that says? That says I don't trust you. Now, how the hell you don't trust her and gonna marry her? If I gotta sign a prenuptial agreement with you, I don't need you. I don't need you. I can't trust you to not try to sue me or whatever, or because see, some things are pretty much in place. You didn't have it when we got started, so you can't get it anyway. Right. So see, a lot of times when we start doing it, now if you're a millionaire and all that kind of stuff, it's different. You might be a thousandaire, you ain't a millionaire. So some stuff ain't
Can't go no lower than that, huh?
Good cousin of mine, and y'all, some of y'all married, I don't know y'all like that, but it's still, you can't get all three: conversation, sex, money. How many of y'all think that's true?
I think you can.
Conversation, sex, and money. They say you get all three, you win.
You get all three.
I got all three.
Okay. Man spoke out like he got all three. He went. I don't know. He said I got all three.
But see, I got 30 years of marriage.
Yes.
Is it downfall? Yes. But I think I can get all three of them at any given moment.
Okay.
Conversation may not go the way I think it's gonna go.
But
we're processing.
Correct.
We're moving. And as long as I can get something out of you, then we're moving.
Yes.
Then we can correct as we move.
My problem is I'm not a communicator.
That's a lie. All the communicating you do.
All that stuff he been talking.
Yeah.
He's not a communicator with her.
No, he said I'm not a communicator. You should be saying with her.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't like to talk. I'm not confrontation. I feel like it's good on my part, but it's actually bad.
It's extremely bad.
Because she's lashing out, she's fighting at me, and it's like I don't get it. It's not that I don't get it, I don't want to fight because I don't like to go back and forth.
No, man, hold on.
Communication.
Yeah.
The communication, she's upset because you don't communicate. But if you was communicating, it wouldn't get to the point where it builds. And because you're not building, that's why it ends up in a fight.
No, I just stay quiet.
After a while, they get tired.
Yeah, you gotta stay quiet though, because
No, you don't.
Let me tell you something.
Fight for it.
A lot of the quietness, him staying quiet, fuels her energy.
That's right.
He can only shut her down by being straight up and telling what he needs to say. Because if he tell her what he needs to say, she'll back off. She's doing what she's doing to try to make him talk. Because when he shuts down, it ticks her off because he ain't talking. You forgot you're talking to a grown man, so if he don't want to talk, he don't have to talk. So she tries to make him talk by manipulating and badgering him, which sends him further in a hole.
That's right.
But he could stop all that by just saying, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is what you ain't doing, this is what you need to be doing. You start putting that out there, I'm gonna give you something to talk about.
You talk about this all, this talk all the
That's
time.
perfect.
You're gonna be
example.
preaching a funeral and he tried.
Well, you know what? Dead ain't number dead, because he's dead on his feet. When the relationship ain't hooked, I'm dead. So, you know, dead is dead. I bet you I'm gonna say what I need to say before I die.
20
And I
years I did
had
my
to
first
learn
marriage.
that. I
Not
had to learn
talking.
that through Bishop.
Yeah.
Say what you got to say.
Oh,
mean what you
he
say.
tell me all the
and be
time.
done
He
with
said,
it.
man, you
Done
gotta,
with
it. You know.
and this is, but them two guys right there, my daddy, I mean, a lot of time I listen when he talk, but I don't listen. I mean, I kind of got a mind of my own, but I'm gonna hear what you got to say. It's logic to it. Bishop, they be on me. Them two right there, they be on me. But I'm like, I'm headstrong, and it's my way or the highway, but sometimes you have to sit down and listen.
That's right.
When I get in my quiet zone and I say, you know what, I was wrong. I could have went that. I could have went that.
Let me ask you a question. you, in your quiet moment, come to the conclusion that you were wrong. And you go back and admit that to her.
I cannot. No, because all that's gonna do is, because my wife, she don't stop. She's gonna come.
Well, she comes because you keep backing up.
Yeah.
When you start
It's
standing your
building up.
ground, there's no further for her to come.
She's
When you
getting
stand your
stronger,
ground,
getting stronger, you getting weaker.
see, I was married 27 years. 25 years I lied. And what I mean by that is I never said what I needed to say.
That's right.
The last 2 years, when I snapped, and I told her from now on,
Yeah,
you gonna hear the real me. And in them 2 years, she used to tell me, I want my old husband back. I told her that nigga dead. Tell the hell out of him. I said, now on, this is what you get. And if this ain't what you get, if this ain't what you want, I'm sorry. Because you done ran over me for 25 years. My wife was so confrontational, she had to be confrontational on what I wore. If I wore something, anything I wanted to wear, I go buy it, then she's gonna, it wasn't what she liked it, then it was something negative about it. And one of the worst arguments we had was about a tie, a necktie. And I told her that day, you know what? I buy my clothes and I buy what I want. And I don't give a damn what you want. From this day forward, if I put on red, white, and blue, don't you say a damn thing, because I'm wearing what I want to wear. And from that point out, it didn't matter what was, I was going to confront it. I was confrontational with her, and sometimes too confrontational, because if she winked her eye like she was finna say something, I was all over, because I'm gonna catch you before you catch me. Because I caught 25 years of this, and I'm not finna do it anymore. And I tell men, that was the best move I made, to let her know, I'm standing my ground, you're not gonna walk on me, you're not gonna talk to me any kind of way. I'm not having that.
That's your question, Bishop?
Yes, sir.
Well, if you would start that off in a relationship and did that ahead of time, communicate, you feel like you wouldn't blow it up.
We wouldn't even be divorced, because I could have tailored her. Okay, now in the marriage I'm in now, we've been married 12 years, and we separated one time for 8 months because of that same type stuff. And I had to get her to understand, you're not gonna talk to me any kind of way, okay? I don't talk to you any kind of way, and because of your damage or where you come from, you're not bringing that mess to me, because I'm not having it. You're gonna talk to me like I'm a man, and I'll talk to you like you're a woman, but you're not doing it any kind of way. And so eventually, that's where she got mad, and she go running off for about 8 months, and then when she found out she's about to lose her shirt, and I called her and told her, go see the lawyer, because all you gotta do is sign the papers. Because that's it. That's how it is. She said, well, I didn't sign up for this. I said, hell, it didn't matter. You ain't signed up for nothing. You gone. So then I think I told her, I said, you got 2 weeks before you go off my insurance. 2 weeks. You coming off my insurance. She said, you gonna take your wife off your insurance? I said, let me explain something to you. My wife would be at home. And because you're not at home, I'm proceeding. And things started to spin so fast it wasn't even funny. Because it was one of those points. My foot's down. And I don't have time to waste anymore. I wasted 8 months. We took all kind of setbacks because you being out of place. All kind of stuff took place in a negative form because I'm not gonna do that.
Because the man won't stand up.
When you don't stand up as a man,
then
you take a beating.
They won't put the pants on.
You take a beating.
You think it's too late for me to start? You think I'm too far gone?
I think
If I can start today, bro, you see him when we come to the room man to man.
No, he's gonna get a phone call.
Hey,
happened over that? Yeah, you got Derek number 1. Derek, what the hell happened?
you know, Joel got my number. You don't want to. Hey, I'm gonna tell her I ain't in there. That's Mike. Mike told him what to do.
But he ain't been the same since he left.
Anything else?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
And I like that because I'm in a situation where I married an older woman, and she had grandkids, you know, and everything, and I came in, you know, and they had all kind of plans before I came in, but their plans now won't work with me in here, so I had to stand. I had to stand up. Hey, that was good when I wasn't here. I'm coming in on a good note. You know, now everything has to be directed towards me. Hey, okay, now I'm at the door, and I have to like sift everything, whether good or bad, and say, hey, this can't go on here, and if you don't like it, you got to go, whatever. You know, I don't care because it's gonna alter what I got going on with her. Me and her, and if y'all, I mean, it seems to be, it seems to be that I'm mean or whatever. They gonna say all type of things to try to manipulate me to do what they want me to do, and all that crap.
Changed since he been here.
Yeah, so and I don't care. The daughter's talking, the son talking. I don't care.
Man don't bring order. He ain't no man.
I didn't have to. She had a grown son living in the house when I moved in, and I knew I could go in there and beat him down. You know, get on out of here. You got to go, right? I could, baby boy. But I said, you know what? I'm gonna take a different approach. I sat back and I let him do some things. He was smoking weed in the house, you know, and it was steaming me. And I said, well, I can't go in there and tell him because if I do, he gonna snap and I'm gonna snap. So I had to say, well, I waited till she got home. I said, baby, I want to let you know that this is the last day that he can smoke in the house because I can't take it. It makes me go to a place. So you're going to have to go in there and let him know. Because if you don't let him know, then I'm going to have to let him know. And you might as well call the authorities because he going to say something crazy. And I'm going to say something crazy. And we going to jail. Somebody going to get hurt. So she went in and she handled that. But, and in her handling it, he moved out. You know, so I didn't have to go into that place. Even like with the grandkids, they think that I'm the meanest thing in the world. I don't care.
They don't get to know you, partner.
Yeah, I don't
The problem
care.
is they don't get to use grandma like they used
Yeah.
to. Anytime you bring order to a house, you have to recognize you're gonna be the villain.
And I'm covering her through that. At first she didn't
because
see it.
she can't see it.
Yeah.
Because being a grandma.
Yeah.
And that's always oftentimes when you go to a house with a family, this is always tell men. When you start dealing with a chick who got kids, find out how much authority the kids got in the house.
Oh yeah.
And all you gotta do is watch. And kids will tell you who run that house.
And I couldn't there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to address right then, and I could have addressed right then, but I couldn't do it. It's one day at a time, one step at a time, and it eats out at me because I see it like this mug getting over. You know, I want to go ahead and do it now, but I gotta wait. I gotta say, well, if I do that, I'm gonna run them away. If I do that, I'm gonna damage them. So I gotta use like wisdom to say, okay, this is the day. Like they were used to walking through the house, going in the refrigerator anytime they wanted because that's what she let them do.
It's grandma house.
Yeah, and that's where they, you know, but they don't know the change that's about to take place. And it's not a one-day change, it's a gradual change. And it's a change of respect where I have to say, okay, because like food and refrigerator, I don't play with my food. Don't everybody just go in there and you putting your hands all over, you ain't doing that. You know, that's me. You know, and so now I have to be patient. I have to say, okay, this is their rule that they had. So I gotta find a way to ease them back up off that rule. You know, I can't just go and put my name on it. They're gonna get it in because my name on it. That's what they used to doing it.
What,
So
you talking about your food?
Yeah.
In the refrigerator, somebody gonna eat it?
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's the rule that they had.
Man, I got that camera back there moving right now. There was an episode in my house.
You gonna speak up then, eh?
Man, yes. I said to myself, dude, never hot sauce. When I want it, it's there. Man, I come home and our sister and eat that hot sauce and didn't go. I don't mind you eating it, but go back to the store and replenish.
Yeah.
If I eat it, you eat it. Just keep it in the house. Cause I blew a head gas.
I have to ease my way into it. I have a separate deep freezer that I keep my stuff. And I told her, I said, hey, they can get all they want up in there. Now me personally, I'm not gonna put my personal stuff up in there so that they can do that to me right now. Put all my stuff in there.
But see, that's where the respect has to be brought in. That if we have somebody in the house, my wife makes the grandkids and everybody has to go through Pops. You have to ask Pops for stuff in the refrigerator. They ask her, but she'll say you have to ask Pops. Even our son, you know, she tells him, you know, you have to ask Bishop if you can do such and such.
Yeah.
Because that's when he was 12, 13 years old when we started. That was one of the things that he could ready to go somewhere. She would tell me to ask Bishop, can you go? So he would come ask me, Bishop, can I go with my friend so and so? Yeah, there you go. Here goes some money, put in your pocket. And I always did that because I tell him I don't need you doing stupid stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure you got money in your pocket. I'm gonna make sure you got the stuff that you want to wear. So if you do stupid stuff, it won't be because you had to. It'll be because you chose to.
Yeah.
Now, see, that's kind of how we bend things in our house, but it's because she made room for me to have authority.
Yeah.
See, oftentimes when men go in the house, children got more authority because the children can play the ego trip
Oh yeah.
on the mama and say, you picking him over me. And the truth is that she can't pick you over me because we're not fighting for the same spot. You'll always be her child. I'm her man. Now, as a child, you got a place to role to play, and as a man, I got a role to play. You can't do for your mama what I can do for her. So there's no picking over.
That's right.
Okay. Now, it's my house to bring. It's my job to bring some stability to the house.
Oh yeah.